Hello guys, this will be continuation on the tutorial of how to finish a neckline. So today we'll be doing another type of neckline. This way we'll be finishing our bias strip on the wrong side of the fabric. So here I have a bias strip of the width of 1.5 inches. If you don't know how to cut a bias strip, just watch my previous video in which I'll put the link in the description box below on how to cut a bias strip. So here I have a width of 1.5 inches. The previous one was 2 inches, but for this type of neckline, I will need a bias strip of the width of 1.5 inches. So first, you have to join your fabric at the shoulder before starting to fix the neckline. So while starting, you sew on the right side of your fabric. So this is the right side of my fabric. Then I'll take the bias strip, placing the right side on right side. So the right side of the fabric of the bias strip on the right side of the fabric. So make sure you open up the shoulder joining because you don't want to have a bulgy neckline when you finish, especially at the shoulder. So just take like 1/2 inch and then place it at the shoulder joining. You place 1/2 inch ahead before you start sewing. So here I will take in 1/2 inch. So first you have to measure. You could use your ruler to measure, because we'll be taking in 1/2 inch, then we cover it with 1/2 inch, and then extra 1/2 inch will go in for finishing. So it is advisable, especially when you are a beginner, you could just start marking 1/2 inch. Like here, 1/2 inch. Just keep marking 1/2 inch, and then you could just draw a straight line with a ruler, and then you do that for all the bias strip. This will make it easier for you. So after doing that, just start sewing. So don't forget to leave an extra of 1/2 inch, then take it to the sewing machine. So after placing it under the sewing machine, make sure you sew on the line. Then press down your footer and then you start. Make sure you back stitch. Make sure you do not pull the bias strip or your fabric. Just make sure you place it on each other and sew the 1/2 inch all through. Make sure you place your fabric together and do not pull. Make sure you do not pull, and we continue this way. So when you get to the other shoulder, make sure you open the joining to avoid a bulgy corners, and then you keep sewing. Make sure your fabrics are together, and then you keep sewing. Yeah. So now we are almost at the end. Just place the fabric on the other one and then finish it off. After doing that, then back stitch, and that's all. Then trim this off, and then what you do in this case is try to notch. Just notch maybe 1 inch apart or 2 inches apart, then notch all through. Then after notching all the corners, then you bring out your fabric still on the wrong side. Then you try as much as possible to sew like a 1/4 inch all through, that is with the same allowance with the fabric. So then you start sewing like 1/4 inch all through. You don't need to pull your fabric, just bring it out. Then the essence of doing this is to make it easy for us to fold the bias strip. So after doing that, after doing top stitching the seam allowance, then now we fold 1/2 inch inward and then inward again. Then you have something like this. Can you see that? Folding 1/2 inch and then you fold it. Then you have something like this on the right side. So now after folding in 1/2 inch, then folding it inward again, then you top stitch all through. So let's take it to the sewing machine. So now place it under it. Don't forget to back stitch, and then you keep adjusting with your hand all through, and then keep sewing gently. You don't have to pull. And then we keep going like that. Adjust with your hand, then press it over, and then keep going. Make sure you keep adjusting the bias strip. And we are done. So can you see we are done with the neckline? Just give it a good press and then it will be so neat. Can you see on the inside and on the outside? And that is it on how to finish a neckline with a bias strip. I had to use a contrasting bias strip for you to see. So it is so easy. It is neat on the outside and inside. And when you are sewing your home, try to press before sewing. And that is it. If my video has been helpful, just give me a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. Thank you.